All right, we are live on Birchwood in Crescent Hill at the scene of the murder of a local resident, Mary Solinger. And Amy has come as the family spokesperson, and we're going to let her introduce herself and just talk about the response to the arrest of the registered sex offender who lived in this house in the death of your family member, Amy.
Um, well, let's see. It's a big relief that he is off the streets. It's been very difficult for my family, um, and the emotions come and go. Um, I have I've known her since she was 12, and so she was like a sister to me. And she's got three daughters, and her parents, and we're all still grieving. Um, it's surreal. I mean, it just doesn't feel real. And there's days where you go by and
When you guys first found out, what was it like to find that information out? And if you could tell us how you guys were informed of what happened.
of the arrest.
No, of the original 30 days ago of the death.
Okay.
Kind of better.
So her current husband found her and called my niece, and they called my brother, and my brother called me. And of course, there were a lot of questions in the beginning, like what happened? How could this happen? How could this happen in this neighborhood? And as things came out, um, it's just been very difficult to absorb everything. I mean,
How do you guys get through each day? It's got to be incredibly difficult. And each family grieves in their own way. So how
Right.
have you guys been able to make it through the
we're
past 30 days?
we're very very close family. I'm there for my nieces. They have lost their mother a couple weekends before Mother's Day, um, days before her birthday. I mean, and it's hard enough to lose somebody, but they're already having to experience very difficult times when you're grieving somebody. And I just want to be there for them.
I think one of the things that has people most puzzled is the proximity of a school
Mm-hmm.
to the house in which registered sex offenders were allowed to reside.
Mm-hmm.
And do you believe that Mary was aware of their status?
I really don't know if she was or not.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I can't even imagine that such a thing was allowed. I don't know who regulates that or who checks up on that, but it's um, it's troubling to know that it was that it, that there's not tighter controls on that.
One of the major things that we've heard from a lot of neighbors is just the shock
Mm-hmm.
that this happened in this quiet little enclave
Mm-hmm.
of Crescent Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Because really, not much happens here.
Right.
An Easter parade, family barbecues,
St. Patrick's Day.
not a
Yeah.
whole lot of activity. And to have this kind of violent crime committed in the neighborhood is extraordinarily unsettling.
Yes.
And I'm so sorry that it was a relative of yours. And I noticed, and I live streamed the beautiful memorial that
Yes.
your family put up. Tell us what you want people to know about your family member, whose name is Mary Solinger, but
Right.
who also went by Nikki.
Right. She went. We called her Nikki. And Nikki was probably the nicest, most giving human being I've known. She's so good to my children. Um, she was the favorite aunt. I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings by saying that, but she just was very giving. I mean, loving, cared about everybody, did anything that you could ever want or ask of her. Just a beautiful person inside and out.
I asked you what it was like to find out initially what had
Right.
happened to her. If you could tell me what it was like to finding out that the DNA did match and an arrest was made.
Right. It was a relief. Of course, it's very hard not to be so very angry at the whole situation and to be angry at the perpetrator. It's very hard, but it was a relief to know, and hopefully that'll buy us a little bit of closure, knowing he's off the streets, knowing that, and hopefully he stays wherever he's going right now.
The fact that this death occurred over a month ago, and it took 30 days to get the DNA test results back, must have been just excruciating waiting time for you.
It was very difficult. And then to know that somebody is responsible for this and is out on the streets living their life, and Nikki's not here anymore, and nothing in life is fair, and this certainly wasn't fair.
So any thoughts that you'd like to share with us just before we conclude about cautionary tale?
I think as a female, you always need to be aware of your surroundings and aware of the people around you, and watch for yourself.
I do have this last question, if you don't mind. It's obviously the house can't go anywhere. The house will forever be a
Correct.
fixture. When you look at that house, does it evoke any emotions for you?
It does.
And if so, what are they?
Almost like when you look at a haunted house. And it's such a beautiful house, and that's sad. But it's no longer beautiful to me. It feels like a haunted house. Yeah.
And the only other thing I just would want to know is if you'd be willing to share any photos with us of her. I don't know if y'all have them, or I can give you my cell and you can get them.
Yeah,
to me
I
later,
can get you some photos.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to throw at us?
No, not really.
Our extraordinary condolences to you.
Yes.
And you and I have known each other for a very long
Yeah.
time, and I know members of your family, and I'm heartbroken for you. I live in this neighborhood, and it impacts everyone to know that a violent crime and a death of an undeserving person has occurred, and our hearts just go out to you, and thank you for taking the time to share with us today.
And
we
the
appreciate
family
it.
appreciates all of the support that we've been given, and we have been giving just a phenomenal amount of support from the community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amy.
You're welcome.